The article by John Ryan of Law Dragon in regards to Khalid Sheikh Mohammed's attorneys trying to get the Guantanamo military courts to accept his guilty plea in light after the rejection of a plea deal by Secretary of Defense Lloyd Daniels. And we're just going to read the article together. This is a great article. It's going to be in linked description. Law Dragon has been fantastic over the last couple of years in regards to the keeping up of what's going on in Guantanamo with 9/11 overall. Judge denies accused Mastermind's attempt to plead guilty to 9/11 attacks. As you can see here, this is Khalid Sheikh Mohammed with an orange beard. The lead lawyer for Khalid Sheikh Mohammed on Wednesday urged the military judge on the September 11th case to accept his client's guilty plea to planning the worst ever terrorist attacks on American soil over the opposition of the Secretary of Defense, who in an unprecedented move last week overrode the details of the deals negotiated with defense lawyers and agreed to by the case overseer he appointed. The pretrial agreement signed on July 31st remains in effect under a straightforward reading of military commission rules and basic contract law. Mohammad's lawyer, Gary Sowards, told Air Force Colonel Matthew McCall, the Guantanamo judge. We could proceed to enter his plea and resolve the case, Sowards said. Sowards claimed that Secretary Lloyd Austin lacked the authority to revoke the deals. He said the move came too late as his client had already begun to act in reliance on the agreement, signing them, agreeing to not participate in the ongoing suppression hearing, and preparing to answer questions sent by victim family members about the planning of 9/11. Sowards' arguments came amidst the final stretch of month-long hearing, capping an astonishing week in which the case witnessed the two most important developments in the 12-year history. Late last Wednesday, the case overseer on convening authority, Susan Escalier, reached plea agreements with Mohammad and two of his accused co-conspirators, Wali Benatash, who is also known as Khalid, and Mustafa al-Hassawi, Friday evening. Her superior, Austin, unilaterally withdrew from the agreements. Austin withdrew from the deals amidst intense opposition by U.S. senators and representatives, as well as by some groups of family members who were outraged that the plea agreements removed the death penalty as sentencing option. The agreements, which include lengthy stipulations that detail each defendant's role in the attacks, are currently under seal. And here's the problem really is that, like I said before, that if there's a deal, we won't know what the government had as for evidence, and more importantly, what they didn't have. And we could connect the dots. But when a trial comes, if a trial ever comes, the evidence is public. Here's the thing. These defendants were tortured, so they can't be at trial. Knowing that the case is in limbo for the last 20 years, a deal has to be made, I guess. I don't know. I would hate to agree to it. Escalier, a retired brigadier general with more than 30 years of experience as an Army lawyer, has so far declined comment. We are prepared to remain on the island to not leave so we can resolve this very important issue. Sowards told McCall we should not ratify the chaos. Though Sowards expressed willingness to stay on the U.S. Naval for his past planned Saturday departure, McCall denied the request in short order, saying he did not want to make a rash decision. McCall said he would treat Mohammed's team's position that the plea deal should be enforced and was unlawfully withdrawn. As a motion to be heard in oral arguments following the normal briefing cycle at the session scheduled to start September 16th. The argument was initially made in a pleading filed on Tuesday. We will address it at that point, McCall said, hopefully. Lawyers for Wali Benatash and Mustafa al-Hassawi did not state their position to McCall on whether he should enforce the deals this week. Walter Ruiz, the lead lawyer for al-Hassawi, told McCall that the unlawful move by Austin pointed to a corrupt and rigged system. Everything about Guantanamo is corrupt. Everything about the system of Guantanamo is corrupt, as well as immoral. So it's unsound mentally, unlawfully, and immoral. Austin's decision to revoke the deal shocked the court system that was still grappling with the emotional and procedural implications of reaching a resolution to the biggest U.S. case in history for the deaths of 2,976 people named in the charge sheet. The reversal of plea agreements that had seemed a necessary conclusion to some involved in the proceedings split politicians as well as victim family members with one group calling the developments emotional whiplash and the others offering praise. Over the weekend, the court contingent at Guantanamo was awash in discussion of Austin's actions and whether he had the right to take them. Lawyers said that as a general rule, a Secretary of Defense could assume control of a military commission from a subordinate official to whom he had delegated the role. However, they also noted unusual features of Austin's memorandum for Escalier on August 2nd. First, he withdrew her authority to make plea agreements, but kept her as convening authority for other matters, meaning Austin and Escalier presumably share oversight of the case. Second was the timing of his decision. Austin appointed himself convening authority for the case after plea agreements already had been reached. See, that's the thing. Austin interfered, and this is without Biden being involved. That's another strange thing. You would think that the president would have some say, like he did the last time when there was plea deals last September, and Biden rejected it. This time it was Secretary of Defense. And I wonder if there was pressure from one side of the victims' families to appease to them, appease to that base, because we got elections coming up. I'm just assuming at this point. Could be wrong. Press meeting this week, James Connell, the lead lawyer for the defendant who did not reach a plea deal, Amar al-Baluchi, said his team had not yet found a similar set of facts in other military cases. The withdrawal of plea deals was another instance of unlawful influence in the case, he said. Earlier this year, the Baluchi team cited unlawful influence in a motion to dismiss the case based on congressional opposition to proposed plea deals that fell apart last summer. That motion is pending before McCall, and I interviewed just recently one of Baluchi's lawyers, Alka Pradhan, who is fantastic. I've been wanting to interview her for a very long time, and she knocked it out the park. And then right after that, I interviewed a former lawyer for Abu Rahim al-Nashiri, who is being charged for the U.S. coal attacks. Bang on, both of them, both of those interviews. I was very glad to and very fortunate to get. But they talk about the corrupt and immoral system of Guantanamo as well as the CIA. All this is because of the CIA. They tortured all these people, and I look. I'm not an intelligence official, but it doesn't take to be one to know or understand that if you're going to charge somebody with a crime, you don't torture them, knowing full well that whatever they're confessing to can't be used in a court of law. Now, unless the CIA are a bunch of retards, they would not know about this. But I have a problem that when they were conducting torture on these people like Jose Rodriguez or Gina Haspel or Alfreda Ambakowski, right, didn't know that their confessions could not be used in a court of law. I'm sorry, I'm not going to believe it. So why did they torture them? Because I figured that they want the public to believe or not believe that Khalid Sheikh Mohammad and the rest of the defense are guilty. Because the CIA was running an illegal operation inside the United States with Saudi intelligence. And who knows what else? Foreknowledge? I don't know. I could argue probably that they wanted the attacks to happen, but I don't know if I could do that, but foreknowledge, maybe. I mean, they intentionally withheld information from the FBI and the principals in the State Department. That's what they did. Why'd they do that? Because they were running an illegal operation. What did they collect on Khalid al-Mihdhar and Nawaf al-Hazmi, who they were monitoring? We don't know. A lot of it's classified. But, in the case of, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and the rest, I mean, if it was that cut and dry, this wouldn't take 20 years. And the reason why it's taken so long is because they're tortured and the lawyers don't know what to do. The prosecution is basically just waiting to hope that these people just die. But one person's already deemed medically unfit, and that was Ramzi bin al-Shib. I'm going to link the article at the bottom of the description. It's Lord Dragon. John Ryan has been on top of his game like Dan Christensen over at the Bulldog. It's a shame that we don't have many more articles that are concentrating on this, because in the last 3 years alone, we've had amazing revelations, amazing stories relating to the 9/11 attacks. And there's so much more to talk about. All right, guys, listen, that's the end of the video. Have a great weekend. Okay. Stay safe out there. See you in the next video. Take care.